Welcome to Headlocksforbreakfast.com. I'm your host, A Vanilla Midget, and this is Payback for Breakfast, the first ever video review in the history of our website. It's a wrestling website. You're going to get used to it. You'll see what it's about. But today, you're in my kitchen, and I'm going to tell you how I feel about Payback 2014. First we're going to go with the pre-show match. El Torito versus Hornswoggle, Mask versus Hair. I've complained about this on the Beard and Hat Connection, another show you'll see on Headlocksforbreakfast.com, and I basically said that if he's supposed to be a bull, then how is he wearing a mask? And they kind of fixed that tonight when he took off the mask and he still had it, and JBL was like, that's not a mask, that's his head now. So it kind of was cool, I guess. It made sense. They got rid of, well, sense looks like a crazy, it made sense. But as far as it goes, they covered up my main issue with it. And then the match itself was alright. It wasn't the greatest match ever, but Hornswoggle, man, that guy will do a bump, you know what I mean? Doing moonsaults off the top rope, that kind of thing, it's pretty amazing. So overall, I'd say it wasn't the worst match of the night. The main card, and Sheamus versus Cesaro, which is one of the hardest hitting matches I've seen all year. These guys went to town, and it had a funny ending, but overall I would say it's another quality match on the pay-per-view card. It's a great way to get it started. It had a German suplex in it, and the ending, like I said, the giant swing happened. Chicago counted too fast. They're doing seconds, not rotations. That's a problem that everyone has. It's okay. We forgive you. And then you have, obviously, the little roll-up victory. Small package, makes sense. You know, giant swing's going to make everybody dizzy, and Sheamus just happened to catch on to Cesaro. I don't have a problem with this. This continues, and eventually Cesaro will be the U.S. champion. Match I didn't even know was on the card until it happened, which Ryback versus Cody Rhodes, which had the mashup themes. I'm not into that. And then the match itself, it was okay. It had Curtis Axel just doing what he could to make everyone look good. Then Goldust did the same thing. And then Cody Rhodes and Ryback got to the actual match that you wanted to see. And the ending was pretty cool, where the kick stomp that Cody Rhodes did set up that Ryback knew he was going to do his little disaster kick. And then he caught him for the shell shock and the finish. That was fine. Another decent next match we're going to talk about is Kofi versus Bo Dallas, which they teased on the pre-show, and then it didn't even happen. Kane came out, did a chokeslam and tombstone on Kofi Kingston. Bo Dallas ran away. The whole thing was ridiculous. The only good thing about it was Bo Dallas coming out saying Chicago was going to lose, and then they lost in the NHL semifinals Western Conference game. So that was hilarious. It seemed like, oh, Bo Dallas like, believe, and then they're going to win. And then he went the other way with that, which is perfect for a bad guy or villain or a heel Intercontinental title match with Rob Van Dam versus Wade Barrett, the champion. Now this is another match where it wasn't, I would say, a bad match, but it didn't have any spots that I was like, oh, thank God it was on pay-per-view. The only thing that even kind of stood out was the roaring elbow / bullhammer into the post, which the crowd popped for. They were like, ooh, that looked like it was painful. But overall, you know, it was another good ending. Rob Van Dam got beat. He did what he could to put over the guy on his part. Slapping Stephanie was a cool segment, but everything around it wasn't for me. You know what I mean? I wish the world title wasn't being held up. I wish Daniel Bryan wasn't around his neck brace with his beard being covered up. And I wish Brie was just smacking Stephanie for the good of mankind. But here we are, world title segment. I wasn't into it when you think of it that way, but that slap was heard around the world, and Twitter blew up. The first true pay-per-view match of the card was John Cena versus Bray Wyatt in the Last Man Standing match. You have the Usos on one side protecting Cena from the Wyatt family on the other side, and these dudes just went to town beating the crap out of each other. If you thought Cesaro and Sheamus had a really brutal match, these guys took it up 10 notches. There was table spots, Luke Harper killing himself to kill an Uso, John Cena dropping the entire set on Bray Wyatt to knock him out, and as usual, last man standing matches are John Cena's forte, so he got the W. I would say this is the match of the night, which was surprising because a lot of people said they were kind of sick of it, but I'm glad all 6 months of this build led to this match. The Divas Championship match was a letdown. You have Alicia Fox going up against Paige, the champion, and all you had was Alicia Fox, all this build-up. Paige still has no character, and in the end is a little submission victory that came out of nowhere. This was the bathroom break match that all the other matches at the beginning were supposed to be. The Evolution versus Shield no DQ elimination match main event was pretty amazing. It was spectacular like every other thing they've done so far. The only problem I had with this match was that it's no DQ, and all these guys are obeying rules for 90% of the match. That was a little annoying. When it started getting crazy, a little ECW style as the crowd liked to chant all night, it was really fun, and I thought that was really cool. It wasn't my match of the night because Bray Wyatt and Cena just had so much better, I felt like, storytelling, but the spots in this one were as crazy as anything I've seen all year. Seth Rollins jumping off the Titantron's always a good time, and the Evolution might be done now. It's funny, but the funniest part of it all, actually, is Blue Tista, which, you know, he's been Boo-Tista, he's been Beard-Tista, and he came out tonight in blue when everyone else was wearing black, so he could be the Smurf, Blue Tista. It was really cool. It was hashtagged, it was trending, it was doing all that cool stuff. People were loving it. And I guess if you're going to close out your little short time run before the Marvel movie, that's the way you do it, Blue Tista. Alright everybody, I'm going to go have some breakfast. I hope you enjoyed the first ever Headlocks for Breakfast video. Payback 2014 for breakfast. I'm your host, A Vanilla Midget. You can find me on Twitter at A Vanilla Midget and other places on Headlocksforbreakfast.com doing other features and other videos like toy spotting. So find me soon on there, and I'm going to go eat some cereal.